Greetings, gamers. As you can see, based on the title of this, I want to do something a little bit different for this channel. Every once in a while, perhaps on every other weekend, we're gonna start doing discussion topics. They could cover anything from fandoms of different anime or comics or video games or whatever topic I happen to decide to discuss that particular weekend. We're going to get into one of my favorite animes of all time. It's actually the anime that introduced me to the world of anime. I didn't know what it was until a friend of mine was like, hey, would you check out this show for me on Cartoon Network and maybe start recording episodes for me so we can watch one whenever you hang out? And that was Dragon Ball. I was introduced to it through Z when it was airing on Toonami. But this focus is mainly on Dragon Ball Super. Because as we know, those of us who are following the series know that Akira Toriyama planned for at least 100 episodes. So since we're in the 80s, we're nearing the end of what could be the finale of Super.
Unless they go further.
Unless they decide to go further. Essentially, Shelby and I are sitting here going to discuss what we want to see from the rest of this arc, or what we would like to see should they decide to continue Super after this tournament. Because this tournament is life or death, this could very well be one of the most intense story arcs that we've ever received from Super. Thus far, it's been mostly rehashes from things we've already seen. It was they rehashed Battle of Gods to make Beerus canon,
right?
Which that's understandable because they can't. I don't know why they didn't just say the movies are canon. Whatever.
The movies were perfectly fine. Like,
Yeah.
They didn't have to do all that.
Yeah, but they did Battle of
God
Gods to make Beerus and Whis canon characters because they absolutely had to be canon.
And the Super Saiyan God transformation.
And they made the Frieza story canon because they wanted to have Golden Frieza. Understandable.
And the Super Saiyan Blue stuff.
And then everything else has been original content, which is great. Right. We had the Future Trunks arc. We had the tournament before that, which was basically the lead up to what we're having with the Omni King. It's mostly been a Goku and Vegeta show.
It has, and that's a little disappointing.
It's disappointing. It's not terrible
not
because
not that they're good characters, but if they're doing everything all the time and none of the other characters mean shit, then what's the point?
Exactly. One of the things that made Z as good as it was, well, Goku was usually the hero of almost every given arc minus the Cell arc. It didn't just start off with Goku saving the day.
No.
Everybody else did something crucial that led up to that moment where Goku would step up and save them.
Hell, at certain points of Dragon Ball Z, a good little chunk of the cast was stronger, perhaps even far stronger than Goku at temporary.
Yeah, especially since there were times when Goku just wasn't there.
And they took care of it. Vegeta took care of stuff. Gohan took care of stuff. Piccolo took care of stuff. I mean, you had
everybody doing
really
something crucial. Sometimes. Yeah, I mean, Piccolo was a major player in the Cell arc. Mm-hmm. He took care of the androids. He probably could have actually defeated Android 17, arguably, if people hadn't started showing up out of the blue. Like Cell showing up when he was trying to finish him off was a huge letdown because he was obviously outnumbered. Mm-hmm. And while he might have been able to have defeated imperfect Cell on his own, with 17, 18 Cell all there was just no way in hell. But
hell, Vegeta could have beat Cell easily.
Oh yeah,
but you know how Vegeta is.
Yeah, and the fact that all these characters were actually useful in this story. In Super, most of them are just kind of there.
The only characters that are doing anything are Goku, Vegeta, Beerus, and Whis. And,
yeah.
And like the big names from like Universe 6 and Frieza and stuff like that. But
yeah.
It's not like anybody else is
which
doing
is
anything.
To a point it's okay because they're at least introducing new characters and adding on to the mythos of Dragon Ball. That much I enjoy. But at the same time, I want to see characters that we grew up with actually making a difference.
That's why this new tournament arc is looking to be very interesting, because you have 10 characters, including Goku and Vegeta, which, I mean, you have to have them.
Yeah.
But you have 10 characters from our heroes universe that come from Dragon Ball. They come from Dragon Ball Z. And they're just different. You know, you find out about them in different, either early or late.
Yep.
They're there. It goes from even Master Roshi and Krillin, and all the way to Majin Buu even participating.
Yep.
You have androids 18 and 17. You know, you have Gohan and Piccolo. You have Tien coming back.
Even though we have all of these characters involved,
that doesn't mean that they won't just shove them aside. And then,
exactly. We need to ensure that since everyone's there, they're gonna at least have one match where they shine exponentially. And
even if they lose, each of our characters that we all know and love growing up, we all love everything about each one that are participating. Let them have, even if they lose, let them have a good moment. Like, for example, in the previous tournament, Piccolo fighting Frost. That didn't last too long, unfortunately.
Because Frost cheated.
He did cheat, and he could have won if he hadn't cheated. Honestly, that's not even me being biased. Yep. That's just true.
That's honest truth.
It showcased Piccolo's techniques, combining his special beam cannon and his multiform technique, to which I have never seen that technique go as far as he made it go. But stuff like that. If each character that is participating in Universe 7 has moments like that, win or lose, it's still worth it to see him again, fighting in action again.
Because the last thing we want is to have battles be completely and totally one-sided.
Yeah.
We want our heroes to be able to stand up to these new opponents and at least give them a moment of, oh God, am I gonna lose here? Because realistically, not everybody can have a match that'll last 1 to 2 episodes, because we don't have very many episodes left. But as long as each match lasted a episode, single episode.
Frankly, I'm sick of seeing, okay, if they lose legitimately, they lose legitimately. That's perfectly acceptable. But the other universes tend to have fighters that like to cheat or use like extra maneuvers to kind of get a cheap win out of it.
Whereas our characters, our heroes, they actually fight with their all.
They just straight up fight using what they have.
They don't need to cheat.
If they win. If they lose, they lose, which is perfect. It's fine.
I mean, it's not in any of their morals to cheat. Even Vegeta wouldn't stoop to cheating in order to win.
No.
As long as they all have moments to shine, even if they don't win, that'll at least make me happy as a Dragon Ball fan, because so far we haven't seen any of them really do any actual fighting. And I realize that there are reasons behind most of it. Gohan, for example, settled down and started a family. But it wasn't until God showed up that he realized he had made a huge mistake in not continuing to train. Because
if he can't protect Videl and Pan, what's the point?
Exactly. Because there's always going to be that force that's going to try to destroy Earth or collect the Dragon Balls or do something evil. As long as they live and breathe, there will always be a new threat.
Right.
So even though he had built that life, in order to protect it, he had to get back into training, which I'm so freaking thankful that they actually covered that the way they did, because
in the opening he looks fantastic.
Yeah, he's right back to wearing the orange and blue gi.
Everyone looks fantastic in the opening.
Yeah, so I mean,
it looks to be like something that whatever ends up transpiring in the next arc or two, everybody's gonna participate and everybody's gonna have, you know. That makes me think, well, what if Goku and Vegeta can't be there or they can't fight? What the other characters are going to have to.
Yeah, because if Goku and Vegeta, for whatever reason, are sent away either by the Omni King or they're on some sort of distant mission with Beerus and Whis, maybe they become gods of destruction themselves for different universes.
Who knows at this point?
Anything's possible, but there could be reasons for why Goku and Vegeta just are not there. Ever. They could forever leave. And if that's the case, the others have to step up. Otherwise, their Earth is just going to be destroyed completely the next time an evil force shows up. And there's always going to be another evil force. So,
now, regardless of whether or not that were to happen, I mean, you know, they're all formidable in their own right, and they should be able to. Okay, so if Goku and Vegeta just disappear for a while or forever or whatever happens for even a fucking week, Gohan and Piccolo are essentially, if you think about it, they're
the Earth's strongest.
They're the next step up to like the next Goku and Vegeta
Absolutely.
tier type of, Earth forces, defenders or whatever. So
if there were ever another Saiyan other than Goku and Vegeta who had the potential to become a godly Saiyan, Gohan is that person.
And surely there's some sort of Namekian mythology or some sort of history or some kind of something that can make him a god as well.
Yeah, I mean, anything's in the realm of possibility. I would think humans could become godlike creatures if they strived hard enough.
And you can imagine those two being basically the next Goku and Vegeta.
Oh, yeah.
And then, say, like, Krillin and Tien train and fight, and maybe Master Roshi trains other human fighters willing to step up and kind of fill in some gaps and stuff. Like, that would be...
Elder Kai could step in for Krillin and Tien, unlock their full potential.
Sure.
Let them...
Hell, make Yamcha fight again.
Yeah, I mean, there's no reason why he can't.
I don't dislike Yamcha. I don't dislike anybody.
No, if you're a cast member of Dragon Ball, you're beloved.
And you can just imagine... I think a lot of people tend to forget, and I forgot for a second, but then I remembered because you just can't forget. Look at how useful Majin Buu could be.
Majin Buu has been one of the most...
He is so unorthodox and so unique. He could
do anything he wanted.
He's damn near indestructible.
Yeah.
He can turn people into candy and eat them. Theoretically, he can still absorb people.
Yep.
What if that were to happen again?
Now, granted, I think one of the only reasons we haven't seen him absorb anyone up to this point is because we do know that it has the potential to warp his persona.
Right, and he's too settled in with where he's at.
And the last thing we want is a repeat of Super Buu or Kid Buu happening again. But at the same time, if he were somehow able to absorb a fighter who could at least somewhat mirror his persona, so he wouldn't change that drastically, but they had an immense amount of power.
Not to absorb or to be antagonistic, but only to protect him. What if Buu absorbed Hercule?
I could see that happening.
Just like in a safe manner, not to hurt him, not to make him part of him, but just because he's almost indestructible himself.
Right.
What if he just to protect, like, what if some shit hit the fan and he was like, I don't know how to protect you other than doing this.
Yeah. So, like...
But he would, of course, be willing, because he's... Hercule's about almost the weakest, protagonist we know, so...
I'm pretty sure it's possible for Buu to undo an absorption.
He could.
So if he had to... if he did whatever was going on and kept somebody inside him long enough to protect them or to use their power... I think he could expel it after whatever situation happened.
Perhaps.
So.
But if it's permanent, then Videl would be without a dad.
But, yeah. But
But as far as the tournament and things go, I read somewhere actually that, and this could be right or wrong, whatever. I did happen to read something somewhere where I think Omni King said if the guy that's fighting Goku in Universe 9 beats Goku, then he'll just say, hey, I'm not going to destroy any universe, no matter what, loses or wins.
And honestly...
What if they just go, because, okay, how back in, whether or not it's canon, I don't care, I won't talk about it. I like to think it's canon. I like to think Pikkon is canon.
Yeah, same.
When Goku and Pikkon fought for the position to train with Grand Kai, and they both basically ringed out when they didn't really mean to.
Yeah.
But they were such good fighters, and they put on such an impressive show, he said, fuck it, I'll train both of you. That kind of mindset. What if Omni King sees the whole thing unravel, and everybody fight, and everything get resolved, and he's like, it was impressive enough, I'm not going to destroy anything.
It's very possible.
Why would he risk one universe who has incredible fighters, and for a good show to get destroyed?
Yeah.
I mean, if they lose, okay, but they're still great. Everybody's great.
The only way I could see it happen for the Omni King to just decide to actually go through with destroying a universe.
Some sort of foul play.
Yeah.
That goes against the tournament.
The fact that we have two Omni Kings now, because of time travel and everything, that might somehow put things in jeopardy because one of them might very well have evil intents.
I love Whis. Because Whis is like, hey, I'm gonna eat my food.
Well.
And while I'm eating my food,
Pixel.
boom, you're dead.
Yeah, I think what what I would honestly, personally, wouldn't mind seeing, and I don't think it's like too much of the same thing, because I mean, okay, the idea is, what if they, after the whole Universal Tournament thing gets resolved, everything's fine, they go back home and do whatever they do. What if another World Martial Arts Tournament starts up?
Like a legitimate World Martial Arts.
A legitimate World Martial Arts Tournament. Everyone that participated in Universe 7, Universe 7's team.
Yeah.
And whoever else that you can think of.
It was just them facing each other.
Right. Like for the most part, it's literally just our heroes and stuff fighting.
Yeah.
Thing. It's just fighting each other. Good old times kind of thing. Like that'd be nice to see.
Yeah, honestly would be because
then you could, for certain, really, no matter who's matched up with who, for certain you could see everyone shine.
You could see everyone shine, and it would put things into perspective as to where characters stood among each other, like where they were on the tier list.
Right.
So like you could have Gohan versus Piccolo. You could have that be an actual match. We've never actually seen Gohan and Piccolo actually hardcore fight each other. We've seen little snippets here and there.
That's just training.
But it was just training. It was never like actually a hardcore match.
Yeah.
And
actually, we've never seen Piccolo and Vegeta fight.
That's true. Vegeta and Piccolo have never sparred or anything.
Once. Not really once at all. That I can think of.
Yeah, I mean Piccolo fought Nappa, but when it came to Vegeta fighting after that, it was literally just Goku.
He was already dead, so
yeah. Piccolo couldn't have done anything because he sacrificed himself for Gohan. So imagine seeing Tien fight Yamcha again, like Dragon Ball days.
Yeah, imagine Krillin getting matched up with 18 or 17.
Yeah.
Or Gohan getting matched up with one of them, or something
Honestly,
like that.
Krillin versus 17 would be kind of ironic if you think about the fact that in GT, which is not canon, but in GT, 17 actually killed Krillin.
But I feel like with almost every world tournament they've done, except for like a couple early in Dragon Ball, but with almost every world tournament they've done, like traditional world tournament, something screwy happened towards the end of it,
and it got interrupted.
And the whole thing got interrupted, which I'd like to see one clean tournament.
Yes.
That finishes with a winner, or at least finishes peacefully.
Yeah.
But if it leads to something very interesting, like say the Majin Buu thing before,
right,
that would be okay too. But that would make more sense because it's Dragon Ball. Like that kind of extra thing has to happen.
I'd like to see a tournament complete itself, and there's ways that they could do it to where they could have something in the works brewing in the background, but never actually kicking off until the tournament was finished.
Right.
Which would be perfect. Like in the early days of Dragon Ball.
No, that shit was going on.
No, yeah, I think
you couldn't dream of something like that.
Even during the one tournament where Krillin was killed in Dragon Ball, I'm pretty sure that tournament finished.
The tournament did finish.
Yeah. So
and I think it was, wasn't it the one where Tien and Goku were the final round?
Yes. Yeah.
It was. And then Goku came to find out that Krillin got killed somehow.
Yep, and that led into the Piccolo cycle. So they could easily do something like that. That would be acceptable because we just want to see the characters shine again.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Because Goku and Vegeta has shown aplenty in many different colors, but I'd love to see everyone else have a big moment, or at least a significant moment.
Even if you have entire episodes where there's not a single battle fought, as long as it's dealing with character development of any kind, it's a decent episode. And some of my favorite episodes honestly don't have fighting.
Because Dragon Ball ain't all about the fighting.
No, it's not. I mean, it's a vast majority of Dragon Ball is fighting, but not the whole thing.
Yeah.
Not the whole thing. And that's where I think a lot of people who are part of the Dragon Ball community fail to realize that it's not about who has the strongest power level.
It's about the story.
It's about the story. Yeah, you have to accept the whole thing.
It's about the story, the characters, the dynamic, the development.
Yeah.
The whole world building thing, everything. It's not just screaming and fighting and firing off ki blasts.
Because if that's all that was, it wouldn't
be as popular.
No, it wouldn't have even resonated with me as anything special because I'm part of it for the story.
Because if somebody was screaming and yelling and throwing shit at the other person, and that was it. You don't even know anything about this person.
Yeah, like
what's
why
the
do you
point?
care who wins or who dies?
You don't know who to root for.
Yeah.
You know, it wouldn't be sad if, like, you wouldn't be emotionally stricken if, like, with the Piccolo sacrifice.
Yeah.
Or
you wouldn't be emotionally scarred for the Piccolo sacrifice, or for Vegeta blowing himself up, or
right, like,
or Goku taking himself out with Cell. None of that would affect you.
Any of the sacrificial things, any of the little returns here and there from being killed, and these kind of things. You know, like, oh, this person comes to save the day, and you know, you root for them to win. But if you didn't know anything about them, if they were just
they're just random schmoes.
You know, you wouldn't
care.
The only thing you'd root for is based on how they look.
Yeah.
Really.
That's one thing we all have to remember is Dragon Ball is it's 50% story, 50% fighting. So you gotta accept the whole, or you're gonna lose something special from it. So
right.
That's why I like those world building episodes. Otherwise,
the point is, I don't want anyone to seem irrelevant.
Yeah.
I don't want any of the cast of heroes, even if you're fucking Yamcha, because he gets so much flack. But
yeah.
You know, I don't know why. He doesn't fight anymore, but you know, I don't even want Yamcha to be irrelevant. I don't want Krillin and Tien to be irrelevant. I don't want Roshi to be irrelevant. I don't want Piccolo and Gohan and the androids to be irrelevant. I don't want anybody to be irrelevant.
Essentially, we don't want a repeat of what happened with the character launch. We don't want a character to be so forgotten.
Who's that?
So forgotten that they are literally written out of the story. I don't want to see that happen for anyone else.
I don't like the word irrelevant mixed with anything Dragon Ball. I want everything to be good and great and wonderful as it should be. Equally, on equal terms. Like, Goku is just as relevant as Krillin.
Yep.
You know, that kind of thing.
But so those are our thoughts on this topic. If y'all want to, lend your own 2 cents on it, please leave comments below, and let's see if we can get this discussion going even deeper. I'd love to hear what you all would like to see from Super, either from this complete tournament arc or from possible future connections, should Akira decide to continue the series. If you enjoy this type of discussion video, please leave a like. Until the next one, later gamers.